Now in Elden Ring Nightreign there's a whole bunch going on, but within your expeditions the level that your character is at can make a really big difference when you get into the tougher enemies, and especially when you're making it to that final boss. You're going to have more health, you're going to have a little bit more going on in your stats, and just overall things are going to be a little bit easier. I'm going to go over one way that I think is a kind of optimum path on how you can pretty much hit level 15 every single time as long as things go right, and get yourself set up so you can do a lot of damage and have a good time within your expeditions. So now that we've been playing for some time, you'll know that you can actually change your shifting earth events over at the collector's signboard, and this is just going to cost you one Everdark sigil. This is well worth doing as these can really help you out and give you some powerful buffs along the way. Now there's a few of these that are really good, but the one I'm going to be going over today, one of my very favourite ones, is by activating the Rotted Woods. I found the buff that you get with this is absolutely amazing, because when you do manage to pick it up, you're now going to get yourself the Favour of the Rotted Woods, which is going to nullify the Scarlet Rot itself, give you a massive extra helping of your HP, which I believe is around about 25% extra, and as well as that, it's going to give you post damage on your attacks, allowing you to recoup some of your health as you play. Now after playing for quite some time, I've noticed that this, like I said, is around about 25% extra, which is a massive amount, especially if you're playing with some of your melee characters, and seeing as mostly I play as Raider, this works out ridiculously well overall, and sometimes I manage to get to the end boss with around about 2.2 to 2.5 thousand HP, making your life just easier because your team and yourself just aren't going to go down as easily. Now for your setup, remember this is just personal preference, I'm going to go over the ones that I think are good, but again if you want to use that different, or you can be using different classes, you'll probably switch these up a little bit. But personally, if you can fit them in, something like the Knight of the Fathom can work out really well. It's going to give you extra HP as well as allowing you to heal your teammates a little bit and give them buffs whenever you're using items. On top of this, if you've done your remembrance quests or you've got a yellow slot available, very much so the best relic still in the game currently is going to be this one just here, your Grand Luminous Scene one. That's going to up your damage whenever you're defeating those Everjail prisoners. It's also going to give you a Stone Sword key, allowing you to open one up, and as well as that, it's going to show you the locations of some treasure. If everyone in your group has this, it's going to make your life a whole bunch easier, but even if you've only got it, it can help you to get a good start to your expeditions nice and fast. And lastly, for your third slot, just place in here whatever you want, whether it be a damage buff, HP buff, damage negation, or just whatever's going to be going with the class you'll be using. For example, if you're a spellcaster, you may want to be investing a little bit into your FP buffs. After that, set out on whatever expedition you're after, and remember, the main thing you're going to be doing is heading over to the far right hand side, right down the bottom here, where you began to the Rotted Woods on day 2. Leave that alone for a moment though, and the first thing you'll be doing is taking out the very first camp and trying to level yourself up all the way to level 2, because this will give you a nice boost to your health, allowing you a bit of survivability. After that, you could be heading over to your first Everjail. Hopefully you get a good one, and even though some of the things here can be quite difficult, if you get one that's of medium difficulty, that can give you a nice boost to your runes and allow you to level up nice and fast. Then, if you're close enough, head over to a mine. This will allow you to get a purple upgrade for your weapon, because you're going to grab yourself a blacksmith stone level 2, which can come in really handy, because if you needed to, you can use it on your base weapon, or of course on another weapon if you found a really nice blue one along the way. If you're not near a mine here, don't worry, you don't have to do it this early, but I would try and get it done on day 1, just to give yourself a little bit of fallback and a little bit of extra damage with your upgrading. If you haven't, go to a church, or anything that's close by that's going to help you out. For example, the ones we'll be going over now, which is going to be your great churches. Great churches and forts are absolutely amazing, because again, they're going to reward you with stone sword keys very often, so you want to take down some enemies inside here, mainly the boss, which you'll be focusing on, and then whenever you have defeated that, you want to look around and check for some stone sword keys. Most times they're going to be behind this area just here. If they're not, then you may want to jump up the scaffolding and hopefully find one just up the top area. One thing that I found very helpful though is to not leave it too long before you hit the castle, and if you go there around about level 6 or 7 with your team, this can really help you to get a good boost to your runes, especially if you're lucky and you've managed to get the Crucible Knights there. These give you a ridiculous amount of runes for every time you take one of them down, and it's probably the main time you could be taking down the standard enemies, because they're just worth so many runes overall. You can net yourself well over 150 to 200,000 runes here if you get here early enough, but even if you don't worry, just make sure you start off at the bottom, keep making your way up, defeat all the enemies as you go until you think that you're going to be running out of time with the zone. Of course, you're going to want to make sure you go to the middle floor just so you can grab the talisman that's going to be in there, and even if it's not for your class, hopefully you'll be able to drop it on the floor and another one of your players will need it. Overall though, this castle is well worth doing, and even if you can't get it all done, especially the top, because the top has usually got quite a difficult boss on it, then remember you can always come back and finish it off if you need to sprint over and do something else along the way. Other than this though, if you can manage to fit in another church for picking up your flasks, then remember a great thing to pick up along the way as well, when you're knocking the boxes over on each side of this, you're often going to be able to pick up golden falfy. These are going to give you a 10% extra rune acquisition for 1 minute, so as long as you're using these wisely when you're tackling all of the other jail bosses or some of the bosses that you encounter along the way, it's going to give you a nice boost to your rune acquisition. Once you've done a few of these, you're going to head over to your Nightreign I buffs, take them out as a team, and hopefully because you've got an upgraded weapon, you'll be able to take them out without too many issues and quite fast. Grab yourself your reward afterwards, which if you're anything like me, usually is something that's not for your class. And then after that, again, you're going to be heading off trying to use your stone sword keys at all of the other jails that are close by. Again, hit up a few great churches, pretty much just clean up whatever's left, and the main thing you're going to want to remember is to use up all of your stone sword keys that are available and try and pick up quite a few of those flasks from those churches before you're heading to the very bottom of the map. So at this stage, you're going to be going all the way down to the bottom, making sure you're entering the rotted woods. If you can, try and take out a boss, 1 or 2 depending on how much time you've got, before you actually go over to the fort there, because that way you'll be able to make your life a little bit easier. I usually find that heading over to the rotted woods, you want to be around about level 12 with a few runes in hand to make sure you're guaranteed to hit that level 15 by the time you finished everything off. Run up to the fort, there'll be a boss that's just on the top here that you'll want to take out, but the main thing you're going to want to do is to head inside just same as those normal forts and pick up the map within here. That's going to show you the location of your special buff, which is going to be the Rotted Woods buff. That's going to give you all of your extra HP, as well as making sure that you don't worry about that Scarlet Rot anymore, as well as giving yourself a post damage regains health buff, which is definitely the best buff in the game in order to get your health back. Then at this point, try and clear out as many bosses as possible before the zone is going to completely close in on you, and you're going to have to take out the Night 2 boss, and hopefully by then, if you're lucky, you'll have a Scarlet Rot weapon on you that can help out massively, and some nice buffs from all of the enemies you've defeated. Then you're going to make it over to the Night 2 boss, hopefully absolutely decimate him with everything that's going on, especially if you're a high level. This is going to make this really nice and easy, and then pick up whatever the reward is that's hopefully best suited for your character, and then you'll be able to make it all the way up to the final encounter. If however you're still lacking a little bit on runes, the great thing about this area is that just around the outside of the actual zone is a whole bunch of little enemies that you can take down in order to get yourself some extra runes, usually somewhere between 10 to 20,000 if you're working as a team. Don't get caught out in the zone for too long though. I believe you've got around about a minute and a half before it starts to do that crazy ticking where your health goes down drastically, but as long as you're playing as a team, this can really help you to clutch a few runes if anything's gone wrong within your expedition. Then make your way up, prepare for the actual end boss, and as you can see here, I've got a ridiculous amount of runes because we had the Crucible Knights back at the castle, but if you haven't, this tends to range anywhere from around over 200,000 still in hand after you've got level 15 to anything that's a little bit closer to like 10 to 15,000 of 15 if you found that you got a slightly worse castle encounter. And then hopefully, because you're level 15, got a good setup around about yourself, you should be able to take them out without too many issues. I've found that this is by far the cleanest runs I've had doing it this way, and I'd say 9 out of 10 times I don't really have many issues, but of course if you are playing with random players, sometimes things can still go wrong, or either disconnects or just people run off in the wrong direction, which unfortunately there's not too much you can do about. But overall you should be able to have a lot of fun with this, get some great buffs from that Everjail, get some great buffs from your Everjail opens, and as well as that, some extra HP in order to make your life a bit easier. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys have found a better way than this. This one's personally the best way I like to run my expeditions currently. As always, for All Things Gaming, there's going to be a whole bunch more content away from me. For now, take care, I'll see you on the next day.